Captain Aiden Voss tightened his grip on the ship's control panel as the small human scout vessel, Horizon's Edge, drifted closer to the neutral planet of Illyria. The stars outside the cockpit were sharp and cold, glittering like shards of glass in the black void. For Aiden, every glittering point was a reminder of how far humanity had come, and how far it still had to go. Humans were scattered across this galaxy, fragile yet stubborn, always fighting to survive against aliens who thought of them as weak, expendable prey. The Illyrian system was quiet, almost too quiet, which always made Aiden uneasy. His crew, 6 humans in total, were busy preparing sensors and shields for landing. Among them was Lieutenant Mara Chen, a brilliant strategist who often surprised Aiden with solutions that defied logic, but worked perfectly in practice. Beside her, Engineer Lucas Varick checked the ship's power core for any irregularities. "You know," Lucas said without looking up, "I still don't like this. Illyria isn't hostile, but I've got a feeling that something's watching us." "Something? Hungry?" Aiden nodded, his eyes scanning the cockpit displays. "I know. Keep your senses sharp. We've come too far to be careless." The warning had come days earlier through a scrambled transmission intercepted from deep space. The Clith, a ruthless alien empire, had sent one of their hunters, a warrior called Shirek the Blade, into this sector. He hunted humans for sport, claiming that each kill was a testament to his skill and honor. For the Clith, strength was the only law, and the strongest were the most respected. To face a human and fail was unthinkable to him. "Another message came through," Mara said, her voice tight with concern. "Shirek claims he will find us. He says it's an honor to face a worthy opponent, but I don't think he's here for diplomacy." Aiden's jaw tightened. "He's here to hunt. And we're it." They touched down on Illyria's surface without incident, the ship's thrusters kicking up clouds of amber dust. The landscape stretched out in rugged hills and jagged stone cliffs. Despite its harshness, the planet held a strange beauty, a reminder that even in war-torn space, life persisted. The crew stepped out, weapons ready, but hearts calm. This was standard protocol for a scouting mission, but the tension in the air was palpable. Even Lucas, who normally joked to hide his fear, remained silent. Aiden surveyed the horizon. "Stay alert. Every shadow can be a trap. Every wind gust can carry a predator." They moved carefully through the rocky terrain, making their way toward an abandoned Illyrian settlement, a place marked on their maps as a potential safe house. The settlement was quiet, its buildings worn by time and storms, and the eerie silence made Mara uneasy. "Too quiet," she murmured. A low hum vibrated through the ground beneath them. Aiden froze, his instincts screaming that danger was near. From the cliffs above, a shadow moved with unnatural speed. Before anyone could react, a spear-like projectile cut through the air, embedding itself in the ground mere inches from Aiden's foot. The humans ducked instinctively, drawing their weapons. From the shadows, a figure emerged, tall, armored, and impossibly fast. Its armor glinted in the fading sunlight, and the blade in its hand seemed almost alive, hungry for blood. "You've come far." "Human," the figure's voice echoed, deep and menacing, "but my blade hungers still." The crew recognized Shirek immediately. The tales of the Clith warrior had traveled faster than they liked. His reputation as a hunter who respected no one but skill itself preceded him. "Form a defensive perimeter," Aiden barked, though his heart raced. They were outmatched in every visible way. Shirek's armor was stronger than anything they had encountered, and his reflexes seemed beyond human comprehension. The hunter moved with a predator's grace, striking at shadows, testing their reflexes. Every attack was calculated, designed to intimidate, not to kill. Yet the power behind it could easily end lives if they were careless. Mara whispered, "He's probing us. He wants to see what we're made of." Aiden nodded. "Then we'll show him." They retreated slowly toward the settlement's central plaza, using the crumbling buildings as cover. Shirek followed, his steps silent and precise. Every time they tried to flank him, he anticipated their moves, countering before they even acted. Hours passed like this, the humans surviving more by wit than strength. They improvised traps using rocks, old Illyrian tech, and environmental hazards. At one point, Lucas triggered a collapsed roof, forcing Shirek to leap backward, narrowly avoiding being buried under rubble. The humans breathed a temporary sigh of relief. "He's fast," Lucas said, panting. "But he's predictable in his unpredictability." Aiden smiled grimly. "Exactly. And that's our edge. Humans adapt. We survive. That's what sets us apart from every other species he's hunted. Night fell over Illyria, the moonlight casting long shadows across the rocky terrain. The humans huddled inside a partially intact building, checking their weapons and sharing quiet words. The air was tense, but their spirits were not broken. Mara stared out through a cracked window at the dark horizon. "Do you think we can stop him?" she asked quietly. Aiden looked at her, his eyes reflecting the starlight. "No, not by force, but we can outthink him. That's what humans do. We survive when others would die. We adapt, we improvise, and we fight, not just with strength, but with every ounce of cleverness we have." Suddenly, the building shook violently as an explosion rocked the settlement. Aiden instinctively dove for cover, pulling Mara down with him. Through the smoke they saw Shyrek's shadow moving across the rubble, blade raised, eyes glowing faintly in the moonlight. "He's testing us," Aiden muttered. "Every move he makes is designed to wear us down. He respects skill, but he wants to break us first." The humans scattered, using the terrain to their advantage. They led Shyrek through narrow alleyways, over crumbling bridges, and across unstable rooftops. Each step was calculated to tire the hunter while conserving their own strength. At one point, Aiden found a narrow chasm with jagged rocks below. He whispered to his crew, "We'll lure him here. If he falls..." His voice trailed off, leaving the implication unspoken. They baited Shyrek, leaving themselves exposed just enough to tempt him forward. True to form, the hunter lunged, blade striking air as Aiden and his crew dodged, and Shyrek's momentum carried him over the edge of the chasm. He landed with unnatural agility, rising without a scratch. The humans exhaled collectively. "He's not invincible," Mara said, eyes narrowing, "but he's close." The night stretched on with more skirmishes, traps, and narrow escapes. Every encounter taught the humans more about their adversary, and they learned to anticipate his strategies. Their understanding of Shyrek grew, and with it their confidence. They realized that the hunter, for all his skill, underestimated one thing: the human capacity for teamwork, creativity, and unexpected cleverness. By dawn, the humans regrouped at the outskirts of the settlement. The landscape was battered, buildings ruined, but they had survived. Their weapons were scratched, their armor dented, but their spirits were unbroken. Aiden looked at his crew, proud and exhausted. "Today we learned something important," he said. "Shyrek may be powerful, fast, and deadly, but he doesn't understand us. He doesn't understand what it means to be human. We fight for more than survival. We fight for each other, and that's something he can't predict, can't calculate, and can't conquer." Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "So what's next?" Aiden's eyes hardened. "Next, we get out of here. We repair the ship. And we prepare. Shyrek knows where we are now. He will come for us again. And when he does, we will be ready. Not because we are stronger, but because we are human. And humanity always finds a way." As the humans prepared to leave the ruined settlement, a shadow fell across the horizon. Shyrek stood atop a distant cliff, watching them silently. He raised his blade, and though he said nothing, the message was clear. The hunt was far from over. "You've come far, human." His voice carried on the wind. "But my blade hungers still." Aiden stared back, undeterred. He knew the road ahead would be dangerous, perhaps even deadly, but humanity had survived impossible odds before, and it would survive again. No matter how strong the enemy, no matter how cunning the hunter, humans had one edge that no alien could ever match: the ability to adapt, to think, and to endure. The sun rose over Illyria, casting long light across the battle-scarred landscape. For now, the humans had won a small victory. But Aiden knew that this was only the beginning. And as they prepared to board their damaged ship, every one of them understood a simple truth. The hunt was just beginning, and humanity would fight every step of the way. The humans had barely left the Illyrian settlement when the ship shuddered violently. Sparks flew from the damaged thrusters as Aiden struggled to stabilize Horizon's edge. The terrain below was rough and jagged, and the storm clouds above churned like an angry sea. Every instinct in Aiden's body told him that Shyrek was near, watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "Status report," he barked. Lucas worked feverishly at the control panels. "Thrusters are damaged more than we thought. We can move, but only slowly. If he catches up, we won't have a chance in a straight fight." Mara leaned over his shoulder. "Then we'll need to use our brains. We can't outrun him. We have to outthink him. Aiden's jaw tightened. Exactly. Humans survive when they adapt. Let's find some terrain he can't predict. The crew navigated toward a mountainous region marked by jagged peaks and deep valleys. It was dangerous terrain for travel, but it was perfect for setting traps and ambushes. The humans moved carefully, each step measured. Every crevice, shadow, and ridge was considered. They had survived shipwreck once. They could do it again, but only if they were smart. As they reached the edge of a steep canyon, Mara stopped abruptly. "He's here," she whispered. The wind carried a sound too deliberate to be natural, the faint hum of Shirex's blade cutting through the air. From the shadows above, the hunter emerged, moving faster than the eye could follow. His armor reflected the lightning in the storm clouds, and his blade shimmered with a deadly glow. He was silent, fluid, a predator in every sense of the word. "You cannot hide from me," he said, his voice calm, almost bored. "Humans are clever, but cleverness will not save you." Aiden raised his weapon. "Cleverness is exactly what will save us," he replied, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "And we have more than enough." The battle began, not with a direct clash, but with a dance of strategy. The humans scattered through the jagged rocks, leading Shirek into narrow passes where his size and speed worked against him. Lucas rigged small explosives and triggered rock slides, while Mara hacked into an old Illyrian energy grid, activating turrets that had been dormant for centuries. Shirek adapted quickly, leaping over traps, dodging debris, and cutting through energy blasts with his blade. Yet every move he made revealed a pattern. He relied on raw skill and experience, but he underestimated human unpredictability. "Now," Aiden shouted, and the crew triggered a preset trap. A series of cables and pulleys sent massive boulders tumbling down the canyon walls. Shirek rolled and jumped with supernatural agility, narrowly avoiding death. For a moment he stopped, watching the humans. "You are persistent," he said. "I almost admire you. But admiration is meaningless. My blade hungers." The storm intensified, rain pelting down, making the rocks slippery and treacherous. The humans pressed on, using the chaos to their advantage. They knew that brute force would not win this fight. Their strength lay in creativity, improvisation, and the human spirit, the ability to adapt in ways that no alien could predict. Hours passed like this, a relentless cat-and-mouse game. Shirek's attacks became more precise, more calculated, each one testing the humans' limits. Fatigue began to set in, but Aiden kept his crew moving, reminding them of one simple truth. Humans endure when others would fall. At one point, they reached a plateau overlooking a vast canyon, ancient ruins scattered across the rocks. Mara pointed to a massive structure partially buried in stone. "That could work," she said. "We can use it as a choke point." "He won't expect what we do next," Aiden nodded. "Prepare it. If we survive this, it will be because of strategy, not luck." They spent hours setting up defenses, using the ruins to funnel Shirek into a narrow path while concealing traps, makeshift barricades, and automated turrets. Lucas even modified some of the Illyrian tech to create energy nets that could slow the hunter down, giving the humans precious seconds to strike. Night fell again, casting the canyon in darkness. The wind howled through the ruins, carrying with it the faint metallic hum of Shirek's approach. The humans waited, tense and silent, hearts pounding. Shirek appeared at the edge of the plateau, his eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. He stopped surveying the ruins, and then his gaze fixed on Aiden. "You are clever, human. I will give you that. But cleverness cannot change the end." Aiden took a deep breath. "It can when you fight with more than your blade. Watch closely." The trap was set. As Shirek advanced, cables released, triggering rockfalls and activating hidden energy fields. The hunter leapt and twisted, barely avoiding injury, but each step slowed him. The human struck when he was forced into narrow corridors, using coordinated attacks to test his limits. Shirek's movements were fluid, almost mechanical, yet each strike seemed slower, more deliberate. He was calculating, but human unpredictability made every calculation a gamble. Aiden realized that this was not just a battle of strength. It was a test of wits, endurance, and moral resolve. During a brief lull, Mara whispered, "He's not just hunting us. He's learning us, studying us. Every trap, every move, we're teaching him." Aiden clenched his fists. "Then we will teach him one thing he cannot calculate. Humanity does not yield even when cornered. We adapt, we survive, and we fight with honor." The battle raged on through the night, rain soaking the humans, making every movement slippery and dangerous. At one point, Lucas was nearly struck by Shyrek's blade, saved only by Mara's quick intervention. The crew realized that unity and trust were their true weapons. No trap or weapon alone could match the strength of humans working together. By dawn, the humans had driven Shyrek into the deepest part of the ruins, an ancient cavern carved into the rock. The hunter paused, his blade glowing faintly, and studied them. "You have survived longer than any I have hunted," he said. "It is impressive, but the hunt is not over." Aiden stepped forward, his eyes meeting Shyrek's. "We're still here because we fight together. You hunt for sport. We fight for each other. That makes all the difference." For a moment there was silence, broken only by the wind and distant thunder. Shyrek tilted his head, a gesture almost human in its subtlety. "Perhaps," he said softly. "Perhaps there is more to humans than I believed." He lunged suddenly, faster than thought, but the humans were ready. They dodged, countered, and used every bit of ingenuity to survive. Every movement, every trap, and every strike reinforced one undeniable truth. Humans were not prey. They were survivors, thinkers, and warriors in their own right. Hours later, the humans finally collapsed, exhausted but alive. Shyrek, battered and weary, retreated into the shadows, disappearing as mysteriously as he had appeared. Aiden and his crew watched him go, knowing that this was only a temporary reprieve. Mara exhaled, wiping rain from her face. "We made it through the night, but he will come back." Aiden nodded, looking over the ruined canyon. "He will, and we will be ready. Humans survive because we adapt, because we fight with more than just strength. Shyrek may be powerful, but he cannot predict our hearts, our minds, or our will." Lucas smiled weakly. "So, what's the plan?" "Repair the ship," Aiden said firmly. "Regroup. Learn from tonight. We'll need every advantage for the next time, and we will not run. Not now, not ever." The storm began to calm as the first light of dawn pierced the clouds. The ruins of the canyon glistened with rain, and the wind carried a strange, quiet hope. Humans had survived impossible odds once again. Against the greatest hunter they had ever faced, they endured. They adapted. They triumphed not through brute force alone, but through intelligence, teamwork, and the unyielding human spirit. From the shadows, Shyrek observed them one last time, his glowing eyes narrowing. "This is not over," he whispered to himself. "The hunt continues, and soon the blade will hunger again." Aiden watched the horizon, the first hints of warmth breaking through the storm clouds. "Let him come," he said quietly. "We're ready, because we are human, and humans never give up." The canyon fell silent, save for the distant rush of water and the whispers of the wind. The humans had survived the night, but the war for survival was far from over. Shyrek was still out there, relentless, powerful, and waiting. And yet, for the first time, the hunter might have realized that humans were not mere prey. They were cunning, unpredictable, and capable of greatness beyond measure. The sun rose fully over Illyria, painting the canyon in golden shadow. Aiden knew that every battle, every trap, every narrow escape was more than a struggle for survival. It was a lesson. Humanity endured, adapted, and learned from each challenge. And when Shyrek returned, he would face not just humans, but a force that had survived impossible odds before and would do so again. The humans prepared for the long journey ahead, each step a testament to resilience, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit. They had survived Shyrek's hunt, but more importantly, they had proven that no matter how powerful the enemy, humanity's edge lay in its ability to think, to adapt, and to endure. And somewhere in the shadows, Shyrek the Blade waited, knowing that the next encounter would be even more dangerous, but perhaps, just perhaps, worth the challenge. The humans had spent days repairing Horizon's Edge, their small ship battered and scorched from the previous encounters with Shyrek. Illyria's mountainous terrain offered cover, but it also slowed them down. Every crevice and ridge could hide danger, and every step reminded them that Shyrek was still out there, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Captain Aiden Voss stood at the ship's hull, surveying the canyon below. The morning sun glinted off jagged rocks and ruins, painting the landscape with golden light and dark shadows. He could feel it in his bones. Today the hunt would end. Whether in victory or sacrifice, the humans were prepared to face the Clith warrior. Mara Chen approached quietly, her eyes scanning the horizon. "He's coming," she said. "I can feel it. We've learned his patterns, his strategies, and he's learned ours. This isn't just a battle anymore. It's a test," Aiden nodded. "A test we will pass. Humans survive by thinking, by adapting. That is our strength. Not just strength in arms, but strength in mind and spirit." The crew moved carefully, setting their final traps along the canyon paths. They had studied Shyrek's previous attacks, predicting his movements and behavior. Rocks were rigged to fall at precise moments. Ancient Illyrian energy grids were reactivated as alarms, and narrow corridors were prepared to funnel the hunter into zones where his speed would be less effective. Lucas Varick checked the power core one last time. "The traps are ready. The turrets are online. The energy nets will slow him down. If he comes at full speed, he won't be able to react fast enough," Mara added, "and we'll be ready to strike. Every move we make will count. We cannot let him predict us completely, but we can make him work for every inch." Night fell, heavy and oppressive. Clouds gathered, and the wind carried a sense of impending danger. From the shadows, Shyrek watched. He had studied them, observed their cleverness, and recognized their strength. For the first time, he felt something he had not expected: respect for humans. But respect did not temper hunger. The thrill of the hunt still burned within him. "You are clever," Shyrek whispered to himself, voice like steel against the wind. But cleverness cannot change the outcome. Only the strongest survive. The humans waited, holding their positions in the ruins of the canyon. Each one knew the stakes. This encounter would decide more than their lives. It would decide whether humanity could face the deadliest hunters in the galaxy and survive. Shyrek struck first, emerging from the shadows like a flash of black lightning. His blade cut through the air with deadly precision, aimed not just to wound but to test the humans' limits. The crew responded instantly, dodging, weaving, and triggering traps. Rocks crashed down, energy nets fired, and ancient turrets sputtered to life. Shyrek moved with uncanny speed, yet every trap slowed him. Every obstacle forced him to adapt. Aiden engaged directly, meeting Shyrek's blade with his own. The clash rang through the canyon, sparks flying with each strike. The hunter was relentless, his strength and skill unmatched. Yet Aiden noticed the tiniest cracks in his precision, the signs of fatigue, of underestimation. Humans had a way of being unpredictable, of turning desperate situations into opportunities. "Keep pushing," Aiden shouted to his crew. "Don't just react, anticipate, outthink him." Mara fired a carefully aimed energy pulse, hitting one of the supporting structures above Shyrek. Debris fell, forcing him to leap aside, giving the humans a critical advantage. Lucas released an energy net, tangling Shyrek's legs briefly. Though he broke free almost instantly, every second counted. The battle was no longer a chase. It had become a test of endurance, strategy, and willpower. Every trap, every movement, every decision demonstrated humanity's greatest strength: the ability to adapt, to learn, and to fight with purpose beyond mere survival. Shyrek paused momentarily, studying them. "You survive not by strength alone," he admitted, almost with awe. "You have spirit. You have resolve. Perhaps I underestimated humans." Aiden's blade met Shyrek's in a final ringing clash. "It's not just survival," he said. "It's honor, courage, and unity. That is what makes us human, and that is what will stop you." The hunter surged forward faster than ever, but the humans were ready. Traps activated simultaneously. Rocks fell, turrets fired, energy nets restrained, and the canyon itself became a weapon in their hands. Aiden feinted to the left, drawing Shyrek into the final corridor of ruins, the narrowest passage they had prepared. Shyrek moved with perfect skill, but this was where humans excelled. They were masters of improvisation, of using their environment to their advantage. Every movement he made had been anticipated, every strategy countered. For the first time, he faced a situation he could not dominate purely by skill. Aiden's team closed in. Mara fired energy blasts to guide the hunter toward Lucas, who had positioned himself for a decisive strike. The humans moved like a single entity, their coordination flawless. Shyrek's eyes widened in surprise, and for the first time he hesitated. It was all the opening they needed. Aiden lunged, using every ounce of strength and technique to disarm Shyrek. The hunter's blade clattered to the ground and he stumbled back, shocked by the humans' ingenuity and coordination. "You, humans," Shyrek breathed, chest heaving. "You fight with everything. Not just your bodies, but your minds. Your spirit, it is formidable. Aiden lowered his weapon but kept his stance ready. We fight to survive, yes, but we also fight for each other. That is something no alien hunter can ever take from us, and it is why humanity endures. For a long moment the canyon was silent, broken only by the distant wind and the hum of their energy systems. Shirek, breathing heavily, regarded them with a mixture of frustration and respect. He had hunted countless species across the galaxy, but none had faced him like this. None had adapted, learned, and fought with such unity. Finally, Shirek spoke, his voice quieter now. You have proven yourselves. Perhaps I have been wrong about humans. You are worthy opponents. Aiden nodded, still wary. We don't seek your approval. But if you understand one thing, let it be this. Humans survive, and we will keep surviving no matter the odds. The hunter stepped back, picking up his blade but not raising it again. Then I will withdraw. For now, he said. The hunt is not over, but you have earned my respect. Use it wisely. With that, Shirek disappeared into the shadows of the canyon, leaving the humans standing victorious, battered but unbroken. The crew exhaled, relief washing over them. Mara approached Aiden. We did it, she said softly. We survived the impossible. Aiden looked over the canyon, the first light of dawn spilling over jagged peaks. We did more than survive, he said. We proved that humanity has an edge that no hunter can take away. Our mind, our courage, and our unity. That is why we endure, why we thrive, and why we will continue to face whatever comes our way. Lucas smiled, exhaustion evident in his features. I guess Shirek won't be underestimating humans ever again. Or maybe, Aiden said quietly, he will be thinking twice before hunting any human again. And that in itself is victory. The humans returned to Horizon's edge, their spirits high even as the ship's repairs continued. Every scar on their armor, every scratch on their weapons was a reminder of their resilience and ingenuity. They had faced the deadliest hunter in the galaxy and survived, not just through strength, but through cleverness, courage, and the unbreakable bonds between them. As they prepared to leave Illyria, the canyon behind them quiet and still, Aiden addressed his crew one final time. This fight was a test we passed. But remember, the galaxy is full of dangers we cannot predict. We have learned, we have adapted, and we have survived. That is humanity. And as long as we endure, no predator, no empire, no hunter can ever truly defeat us. The engines of Horizon's Edge roared to life, carrying the humans away from the canyon, away from the ruins and into the vast expanse of stars. Shirek's voice echoed faintly in the wind, almost as if carried on the currents of space itself. You have come far, human. But my blade hungers still. Aiden gripped the controls, a small smile on his face. Let him come, he said quietly. We will be ready. We always are. Because we are human, and humans never give up. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a reminder of the dangers, the adventures, and the endless possibilities. Humanity had survived the deadliest hunter they had ever faced, proving that cleverness, courage, and unity could triumph where brute force alone could not. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and threats, but humanity had shown once again that they were more than prey. They were survivors, thinkers, and warriors in their own right. And as long as they endured, the story of humans surviving the impossible would continue, one daring step at a time. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, Shirek the Blade prepared himself for the next hunt, knowing that humans had changed the rules. They had faced him, survived, and proven that humanity's spirit was a force no blade could ever fully conquer. The galaxy waited, full of dangers yet to come. But one thing was certain, humans would endure. They would fight. They would survive. And their edge, their mind, their courage, their unity, would shine even in the darkest corners of the cosmos.